Please see the description below for relevant video timecodes, downloads, and a link to the Zade community Discord. Anything mentioned in this video will be available there, including where and how to get the full game, how to set up online play, instructions on fixing and troubleshooting common issues, as well as joining the World in Conflict online community. World in Conflict is one of my favourite RTSs of all time. I first played it within 6 months of its release in 2007 and have constantly revisited it nearly every year since then. Original channel viewers may even remember my video on it from a couple of years back. Featuring a fully fleshed out campaign, complete with compelling characters, an interesting narrative, and unique gameplay scenarios, developer Massive Entertainment had created a game that even someone who was solely interested in the single player experience could enjoy. But despite that, their main goal undoubtedly was priming World in Conflict to be the next big competitive RTS, with fast, high intensity team-based gameplay suiting it perfectly for that arena. A handful of players would take up one of 4 different roles: armor, infantry, aerial, and support, and work cooperatively against another team of players, with games ideally using a distribution of 4 or 5 a side or so, though you can go up to 8 per side if you're looking for some real chaos. It was a unique take on real-time strategy, and despite it not being everyone's cup of tea, both its single and multiplayer components received solid praise and sold quite well. However, after being enjoyed by thousands of players for quite a few years, Ubisoft sadly decided to shutter World in Conflict servers in 2015, removing its online multiplayer functionality. They also removed it from Steam, along with Ruse, rest in peace, around the same time. While the active online player base had certainly dwindled throughout the game's lifespan, there remained a small but dedicated community surrounding it, and having World in Conflict's multiplayer be unceremoniously closed down was a heartbreak to say the least. Once the news broke, it wasn't long before the community realised Ubisoft weren't going to change course, and in not much time at all, they decided to go ahead and take matters into their own hands. Within just 2 years of the multiplayer shutdown, members of the community had managed to restore the servers with an unaffiliated version of Zade, which brought back core features allowing multiplayer to continue once again. And since then, the service has only improved. As of now, nearly everything has been restored. New account creation, ranked servers and server browser, leaderboards, friends lists, basically everything you need to enjoy World in Conflict online. Rather impressive for a volunteer community team, especially considering that a lot of the work was done before Ubisoft released the World in Conflict multiplayer source code at the end of 2017 for free. A cool move by them, I might add. But enough about the backstory, let's get into how the game actually plays today. It is exactly how I remember, which makes sense considering the game is literally unchanged, apart from the network infrastructure. It's fast, exciting, and, not gonna lie, at times incredibly stressful. As you guys know, I don't often enjoy PvP RTSs, but World in Conflict remains one of the rare outliers. The team-based nature of it is certainly a plus. Everyone has to work collaboratively in order to pull out a victory, so, thankfully for me, the pressure's not just on you to perform. And thanks to the game's unique classes, there's also a lot less to worry about than a regular RTS. Fewer avenues to make a mistake or get out APM'd by your opponent. Just focus on your role, play to your strengths, and be smart about it. Let your teammates do the same, communicate effectively, and there's a good chance you'll come out on top. And like any good squad game, robust, collaborative teamwork may well be the biggest asset you have. Another thing that helps me enjoy World in Conflict's PvP is the lack of setup and requirement that needs to be done every match. All the usual time to build a base, gather resources, and train up an army is swept away. Here, you're into the thick of it within minutes. Action that won't let up until the game is won. At the start of the game, you get a pool of points, one of the 2 game's resources. You use these to deploy units available from your class, and whenever they're lost, those spent points will then slowly trickle back into your pool, allowing you to redeploy and get back into the fight. Each class has a mostly unique selection of units to choose from, all with their own special abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. And that's where a lot of World in Conflict's combat diversity comes from, what works well against what, and how you can best counter your enemy while covering your own weaknesses. For example, the aerial class's heavy attack helicopters will annihilate armoured vehicles, but are defenceless against medium helicopters. To best cover them, you'd likely call your buddy in the support class to provide anti-air. The enemy would then call on their friend with heavy armor to take those out, and you'll call your friend in infantry to destroy them. And so it goes on, around and around. And here, even the most expensive units can be annihilated in a heartbeat with the right counter, so the tide of battle can change quick if someone's caught off guard. Tactical aids can be another way to flip a fight on its head. These are player-dictated abilities that range from light nuisances like artillery barrages and precise missile strikes, to game-winning powerhouses like carpet bombs and nukes. Tactical aid points are earned through gameplay, so perform well and you'll find yourself in a position to overwhelm your enemy if you're ahead, or try and level the playing field if you're behind. Sometimes literally. World and Conflict's multiplayer is as fantastic as it ever was. There's really not much else out there like it. Matches are action-packed, exciting, and more often than not over and done with within really no time at all, which makes sneaking in a game or two here and there so much easier than most other real-time strategy games. Not only is the game still incredibly enjoyable to play today, but there's also even new content to spice things up a bit from the old days. Community-made maps are a big one, with some people still making new ones to this day. Also, mods are a thing, and one mod in particular, Modern Warfare, stands out from the rest of them. There was a massive update as recently as August 2020, and it's been constantly patched and developed by its creator to this day. As it always was years ago, Modern Warfare remains one of the best ways to enjoy World and Conflict, regardless of whether you're playing with bots or real players. But as good as the gameplay remains, playing World and Conflict online would be nothing without a solid community behind it, and that's something we are certainly not lacking. The communities surrounding World and Conflict today are a dedicated one, that much is certain. You can find them primarily on the Massgate Discord server, where they organise regular games, aid players who run into issues setting up the game, as well as collate all the guides and FAQs you could basically ever need. Those guides themselves are written by former pro players, and even just a quick read should help you learn the ropes and improve your game. There's currently over 2,000 members, so if you're looking to find people to play World and Conflict with today, this is the place to be. Of course you can play in pubs, but if you, like me, haven't played the game in a while, getting a team together who can help you work the rust off might be welcome. You can also warm up on bot servers with or without teammates, and it's a great way to start either way. I'd also recommend you join one of the pingable time zones if you do join the Discord server, so you can get notifications on when games are starting. It's basically the easiest way to join a game and get together with other players. As mentioned, there's a bunch of FAQs and walkthroughs on how to set up the game, install mods, fix common issues, and more. They even have a section where people can upload full gameplay videos, which you can watch to improve your knowledge and skill of the game. The match mode replays are particularly helpful, as you can watch relatively skilled players play all the different roles across a lot of the popular maps. These guys in particular upload often and are a good source of information. And lastly, everyone in game is super helpful and always keen to welcome new people into the community. Nowadays, anyone who's playing World and Conflict is doing so for their personal ongoing love of the game, so the player base is essentially toxicity free, not something you can say for most online team-based competitive games. Okay, before wrapping the video, I want to quickly cover how to install and play World and Conflict online, for those interested. Which, if you're still watching at this point, I'd say you likely are. However, if you've already done this, feel free to skip forward to the conclusion at this timestamp. I'll be referencing the guide already laid out on the Massgate website, so I'd recommend you go there for a full description. To start, you're obviously going to need the game, whether that's a disc copy, a download from Good Old Games, Uplay or Steam, or the version hosted for free on the Massgate website. Personally, I'd recommend buying a copy from GOG if possible, as you'll get the complete version with Soviet Assault, which is definitely still worth playing if you're looking for a single player experience. Also, if you don't have a CD key, you can get a new one via the website as well. A quick note here, if you are using the complete edition with Soviet Assault, and you're using a CD key from Massgate, you'll need to disable that expansion. You can do so by renaming this file in your root folder. You can of course re-enable this file at any time to play the campaign, by returning the file to its original name. Once you've installed the game, you're going to need to perform a few steps. These differ depending on which version of the game you have. For the majority of you who are downloading from Massgate, you'll need to patch it to version 1.011 with both of these, then apply the online multiplayer fix as well. While you're doing that, also download and install this map pack, and I'd recommend the Camera Freedom download too, as it allows you to zoom out much farther, which can be helpful for competitive play. Also, this page is where you'll find the tools required to host your own dedicated servers. Afterwards, boot the game and create your account. Make sure you use the same email you used to request a CD key with if you did so. And then you should be good to go. Also, if you're receiving this error here, you need the high core count CPU fix, which is something I ran into. Just run it and then your game should start normally. Furthermore, if you can't see any servers in the server browser, you also might need to turn off your filters, like this. And that covers it. Again, all the information is on the website and it's really clearly laid out for all copies of the game, so please refer to that for a more detailed explanation. If you're running into other issues, I'd recommend checking out the FAQs on both the website and the Discord server, or if you need, ask someone in that server for help. But if you follow the instructions correctly, most of you should be able to set yourself up without any troubles. I believe in you. It's awesome to see such a dedicated community continue to surround World in Conflict in 2021, especially considering the circumstances. Once Ubisoft had shut down the servers, the road to World in Conflict's demise seemed inevitable. Single player and land functionality would remain, but World in Conflict, like so many other titles, would be relegated to the land of forgotten games, only to be played by a niche few who either love the game more than nearly everyone else, or were just looking for a nostalgia trip. But that never came to pass, and thanks to people's love of the game, the revival of World in Conflict has left the game in a strong position, with a bright future, and the more I can do to help that future, the better. If you've been thinking about jumping back in, or you've never played at all and are interested in trying it out, I would highly recommend you do so. The intense, explosive multiplayer games are a blast, and the campaign is absolutely still worthwhile too. Remember, for full guides, information, and of course the game itself, massgate.org has you covered. And if you want to play with like-minded people or need help on the setup, join their Discord. There's links for everything in the description. Thanks very much for watching. If you like what I do here and would like to support the channel, then please consider doing so either via just hitting the like button or support me via YouTube memberships or our newly launched Patreon. I really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me for updates on the channel and future videos, then you can do so over on Twitter. Thanks again, and I will see you all next time.